All right, so my little one burner stove showed up today. Um, I'm probably going to end up going ahead and building that bar over here for the kitchen area. Um, there's just not going to be enough room for a sink over here, even if I do just this one burner as far over as it is. There's not going to be. I'm not going to be able to put a sink big enough for what I want over there. I could probably do one of those like salad bowl style sinks made out of stainless. But that's just not going to be big enough for what I want. I want something that I can wash a pan in if it's cold outside without having to go outside and mess with anything. So I plan on doing a lot of winter camping in this. This burner right here was the exact same one that I had in the last camper. And the good thing about this, this was on Amazon. It was only 14 bucks. The last one we had, everything in that camper I had anchored down. So you didn't have to move anything. You didn't have to set anything up. And that's the same way that I want to do this camper. But if you look at this, this has a bolt on the very bottom that goes all the way through this thing. And I think this may have actually been my dad's idea last summer when I was fooling around with that other one. We were trying to figure out how I could mount this to a table. And I had taken this apart, the one that we had. But what you can do is you can put a longer bolt in that and just run that bolt straight through whatever surface you have it on the countertop portion, and then just put another nut and a washer on the underneath side. And that gives you something to mount with. This thing does not move. It doesn't go anywhere. All right, so this is what I've come up with. Go back in this corner. Something like that. I ended up having to make this out of two pieces, which isn't a big deal because this section is going to be back there. That'll have the refrigerator sitting on it, so you won't even see that crease. There's not going to be any legs on this. It's just going to be bolted straight to the studs on the wall. That way I have clearance underneath, and it has to be mounted above this T. So about 2 inches down from that is where my tire is, the front of my tire on my golf cart. So it has to be above that level for the tire to clear the underneath side of this when it's bolted to the wall. Now there's not going to be a whole lot of weight on this section of it. Most of the weight will be in the corner, which is where the refrigerator is going to be. So I think just bolting it to the studs on this back 2x3 right here, that should be adequate as far as holding that up. We're not going to be standing on it or anything, so it's just going to be a countertop with a sink and a stove. Alright, so I measured right where I wanted this countertop at. And what I did was I measured down 2 3/4 inches, which is the width of this. And I just put me a couple screws in just to act as pegs right here all the way around. Those will be coming back out, but just to hold this thing so that I can fasten it to the wall, because there's no way I'd be able to do this by myself. So it'll basically give me something for this to set on as I'm bolting it to the wall. I'm probably just going to put 2 screws in for now, because I'm going to be pulling this back out again when I need to cut the hole for the sink and all that. But right now I'm just trying to get a rough idea of how everything's going to look. So I'm going to go ahead and set this down and bolt this thing in. Hopefully this doesn't rock too much. This camper's pretty wobbly right now. Okay. So you can see I'm pretty much even with my original lines that I had marked where I wanted it to be. I'm going to go ahead and bolt this to the wall. Alright, that'll be enough for now. I'm just going to do those two. So it'll give me a spot for my refrigerator. It'll be back there facing me. Door will be facing me. And then I'll probably still do my microwave up there in the upper right hand corner. And then farthest out will be the sink. And then I'll do the stove over on the other side. I'll do two of those burners right there. Now, one thing I will have to make sure of is when I finally bolt this in, I'm going to have to make sure that my refrigerator door will be high enough, and make sure that this is low enough to where when I open my door to my refrigerator, it'll clear both of those burners without bumping into them. A lot of that you got to take into consideration when you're building something like this. There's so many different variables that you got to keep in mind, because you'll end up doing everything 2 and 3 different times before you're all done and satisfied with it. I learned that on my past 2 builds that I did. I still don't know what I'm going to end up doing over here yet with this. That'll end up being for something else. I don't know what yet, but anyways, it's going to be it for this video, I think.